Okay. Hey, hello everybody. Good evening. I'm David Whitlock. I am the teacher for this course, which is the joy of coding with Java and Android. I've taught at PSU for a really long time. I've taught in this room for a long time, and this is one of my favorite spaces at PSU. And someone designed the course for this particular room, so I was so psyched to get it. I haven't been here for a couple of years. Because what we do is that we write code together, and I hope we enjoy doing it. And as we'll be talking about a little bit later, we'll be leveraging all the projectors around this room for coding together, for co-creating solutions to problems, to really exploring all of the cool stuff that you can do with software using Java and Android, and then a whole bunch of other techniques that we'll learn about. Um, Tonight, I've got some intro slides. There are some new things about this course, things that are new to me, and of course, it's new to you, that I sort of want to level set with you all here at the beginning, so that we can have a great term. I'm really looking forward to it. So I'll introduce myself, also our grader. I'll introduce, and I'd like, I don't see here, got 8 online. I think we got, yeah, enough time. I'd like also you all to introduce yourselves to me and to each other. We're going to be working together this term. And so then, if you feel comfortable doing so, I'd like you to introduce yourself so we can start to get to know each other. And then I'll talk about the course and its syllabus. And time permitting, we'll do a little exercise about hybrid learning, because this is still kind of new to me, all things considered. And then we'll dive into some Git and GitHub to figure out how to get started with the course and writing code. So once again, I'm David Whitlock. Over the years, I've taught a lot of students about software engineering and programming. That's what I do during the day. So I manage people at a company called Tripwire. And I've also been part of the PSEP program here at PSU. Oh, can I hear? Okay, good. People can hear. Yep, good. I've also been part of the PSEP program at PSU for many years. I'm no longer on the steering committee, but I was a big fan of Portland State and what it means to the city and what it provides all of you. So this term, we're going to be exploring topics in what I call contemporary software development. I'm so lucky to be able to share with you the things that I've learned over my career, the things that I coach the people that report to me towards every day. And what I hope is that it gives you an introduction, early in your journey to the flow and the joy that can come with coding. So kind of lefty goals. We'll see how it goes. But that's who I am, and that's why I'm here. Well, we have a grader to help us out, and his name is Benjamin Lutz. Super good guy. He took the course over the winter term, so he's got recent experience with the course and the content, which is essentially the same as when he took it. Actually, he took the 11-week version of the course. So there's one assignment that he had to do that you won't have to do. So he comes with good experience grading. And just to be clear, like what Ben will do and what I'll do, when it comes to questions about the content or the expectations for the course and what assignments are due and things like that, I'll answer that stuff. And Ben will focus mainly on grading, assessing your work on your quizzes and your projects, and providing you feedback that way. Actually, is Ben on the call? I don't know if he was able to make it or not. Nope, that's cool though. So, as I was saying, I've been teaching here a long time, and I've been evolving this course as I learn more things, as the industry progresses, as software engineering continues to grow and mature as a discipline. You'll notice in some of the materials, they still refer to the earlier incarnations of the course. So you'll see a number of things, especially the online lectures labeled as contemporary software development. That was the name that I had for the course last time, and I realized that is a mouthful of a course. It was just a lot for me to say. It felt awkward. And boy, the way they abbreviated it in the course catalog just looks silly. So I decided I want to call it the joy of coding because not only I think does it really speak to what I'm hoping to accomplish with the course, but it's also easier to say and it's easier to type out. Some of the older materials still refer to advanced programming with Java. I've tried to get rid of this in all of the printed materials and all the written materials and stuff, but some of the older lectures, and I admit that they are old, they were recorded quite a while ago now. Still relevant, still the right stuff to learn, but it's it's got a name from a previous incarnation of the course. But if you find something you're like, hey, is this the right one? Is there a newer version? Reach out to me and I'll let you know. Because on YouTube and stuff, there are still older copies of the material. Another big change about this offering of the course is this is the first time I've ever taught 2 nights a week. I've always taught sort of like this big long class on Wednesday nights, and sort of back when, back before the pandemic, before there was Zoom as an option, it was nice only to come to campus 1 night a week, both for me and for all of you. But 3+ hours of lecture began to be a slog, and I'm not as young as I used to be, and well, even though you're still as young as you've always been, who wants to sit through 3 hours of me talking? So I'm experimenting with having it twice a week. So we'll meet on Mondays from 6 to approximately 8:20, and then again on Wednesdays for the same amount of time. And as a result, I apologize in advance if the pacing of some of the classes is awkward. I basically had to take the thing that I used to do once a week in 3 hours and try to divide it up. So when we look at the course homepage, we'll sort of see how I'm planning on breaking things up. But I haven't kicked tires on this particular scheduling, on this particular pacing of the course. So let me know if something either going too fast, or too slow, or it's like, I was thinking about last night's class, and we didn't accomplish very much. How about you try to go a little faster next time, or slower, more likely slower. Because I want to know. I'm here for you. I already know this stuff. And as much as I love to hear myself talking, I want to make sure that you learn, and that's really why we're here. So please let me know how things are going. I'll show you how you can get in touch with me to provide me feedback, and of course, I'm always happy to take questions during class time. So a little bit more about the course. This course is all about how software is developed here in the 21st century. Now that we're well into 2 decades into it, it's not cliche to say that the world runs on software. Everything that we do is interacts with software, both in our professional and our personal lives. Software continues to be written by people, even with AI assistants and everything like that. It's still us that are telling the computers what to do, or so the computers would have us believe. But I still believe it. So when I sort of realize these two things, it's like, okay, I want people to know not only how to work with computers, but also work with other people. And that's really what this course is all about. So as we work with software, as we work with others, we're always uncovering new ways to be more effective, to deliver better solutions to the problems that matter to our users. And ultimately, as software engineers, that's who we serve. Right? We build stuff not just for ourselves. Well, everybody has their own pet projects and stuff. Professional software developers get paid to build software for other people and to provide solutions to problems that are so compelling that your user will meet your asking price. So in order to do that, we need to deliver solutions that are high quality, that meet the expectations of our users to provide them with a great experience. And these days, things move so quickly and the solutions are so complex that it's incredibly rare that one person can do all this lifting by themselves. And so as a result, people have to work together to write software to deliver these solutions. The other thing that I've really realized over my career is that when it comes to the code that you work with, you spend much more of your time working with someone else's code, or code that you wrote a long time ago, than working with your own code or the brand new code, right? There are very few greenfield projects. And while probably almost everything you've experienced so far in your academic career has been, just you working by yourself and, solve the same problem that everybody else does. It's not the way it works in the real world. You're inheriting somebody else's code. You need to understand well, you need to understand what someone else has done, and therefore that means the work that you do will be consumed by somebody else. And so we'll learn about techniques that have been discovered through practice to help you write code that is clear, that is clean, that's reusable, and can evolve. Because that's what software needs to be. It needs to be evolvable so that as more people discover how awesome it is and want to use it, it can grow to meet the needs and demands of those users. Another key component of this course is quality and demonstrating that quality through testing. And so we'll be talking about quite a bit, and we'll be experiencing test-driven development. So this is a technique that ensures that your software is quality and it works as expected from the very beginning. So basically what it means is that you write a test before the code that is tested. You basically say, here's what I expect my code to do, and then you say, oh, it doesn't do that yet. Okay, great, I'll make it do that. Oh no, look, it does it, and poof, there you do. So what this allows you to do is build up a suite of tests that give you rapid feedback as you change your code. As you write new codes, you modify things, as you evolve your code to be better. You can constantly verify that you haven't broken anything. Everything still works the way that you expect. And what this gives you is gives you the ability to go really fast and have a tremendous amount of confidence and verifiable confidence. So it's not just like hubris. It's like, oh, my code must be wrong. It must be perfect. No, it's not. I've demonstrated that it's perfect. And then that lets you just do awesome things really quickly. So again, building on this notion that people work together to build software, we're going to be exploring pair programming and ensemble programming, also known as mob programming, to bring all of our ideas, all of our great minds, right? These, this gray matter that we have in our heads, together to build the best solution that we can. Because when you work together, when you work by yourself, sure, you get your best ideas, but you also get your worst ideas. But when you work with other people and work effectively with other people, all the best ideas of all those people go into the solution. So you end up with a much better solution. You find bugs sooner, you have code that more people understand so that more people can contribute to it and more people can improve on it. And you also spend a lot less time being stuck, right? We're all there, especially when we work alone, right? You start to get to a point, it's like, oh, how do I solve that problem? Or, oh, what is this language, what is the right language syntax use? It's like, oh, wait, where does the star go in C, right? I can never remember those things, but when you work with other people, they'll tell you right away. You'll be able to leverage your collective knowledge. And we'll get to experience this in the course. Another thing that you'll get to work with is other people's code. Now, mainly my code, but when you're mobbing and you're pairing, you'll get to see other people's code also. But when you think about what open source software has created over the last 20 plus years, is this huge ecosystem of openly free available software. And so a big part of what we do is leveraging other people's solutions in our own solutions. And so we'll be seeing both kind of on the small scale. I'll provide you a little bit of code to get your project started, but then we'll also be using some third-party components to very quickly be able to do things like build web applications and build Android applications because we're leveraging this code from somebody else. So we'll be using standard library APIs and other frameworks, like I mentioned, because this gives you really important skills. The ability to make sense of a large code base that you didn't write, and to do that quickly is what professional software engineers do every day. So it'll also give you a sense for how other people have solved similar problems, which helps you develop patterns to follow and sort of an intuitive way to code because you've looked at others. And then also we'll be leveraging Git as a distributed version control system to share our code, Git and GitHub, to share our code with each other. And we'll get started on that tonight. Another thing that informs the course is making our code ready for the future. In software, as in so many things, you're never really done with software. It's like, okay, is it fit to purpose right now? Okay, that's good enough for now, but there might be other things coming. The thing I love about software is that it's like the most malleable substance out there, right? Things in the physical world, it's, the they literally break. Things wear down, or there's like physical limitations in terms of like tensile strength and everything like that. Software though, you can put it in whatever shape you want it to, and it makes it really easy to evolve, really easy to try new things and experiment. So what we aim to do is build software that allows new capabilities to be added as people demand it. And you can do this by refactoring. Sorry, well, and one of the things that enables that is what's called refactoring the code, in improving the internal quality of the code, make it more readable, make it more approachable, make it more extensible, so that when you or someone else needs to make a change, they can do so easily and quickly. Now, mechanically, how we're going to do this? Well, we're going to be using Java and Android. Now, admittedly, these are not bleeding edge technologies by any means. Java's been around for a long time, and Android too has had the tires kicked on it very well. But that's okay, because what that means is that there's been a lot of application of this language and of these tools, and so then it gives us a good platform on which to explore these topics in contemporary software development. So you'll see in Java and Android, there are these nice object-oriented APIs that leverage proven patterns to be able to express things in code. We'll work with IntelliJ to discover the really robust tools that it offers for refactoring, for doing test-driven development. And we'll be using Android to develop user interfaces on on a platform, on devices that are relevant. I don't want to teach like 1998 style HTML. No, we're going to have something that looks like the applications that we use every day. So the next thing I have to do is have you all introduce yourselves. Before that, any questions about the general shape of the course? We'll dive into the syllabus to talk about grading and things like that. But these are the kind of topics that that we're going to cover. Any questions about that? Any surprises? Am I like, oh, this is going to be like Pascal? No, good. Okay. Awesome. Yeah.
What was the parameter?
Oh, great question. So, nothing really. I've struggled with this, right? I've offered a graduate section of the course for a long time. I was like, well, what should I do different? I could give them more work, but it's like, I want everybody to experience all the great work. So really the only difference is that there are technically two different curves for grading, although I don't actually end up curving on a grade ever. So the content of the course is the same. I expect graduate students to have more experience programming, so you might find some of the activities you end up taking on more of a leadership or experience-based role, but that's not really something I have like in the curriculum. Because I found that the undergraduates are pretty good too. So that's a good question, and I hope that's a good enough answer. So I'd like to call for volunteers, people to introduce yourselves. Now, I'm not going to make anybody stand up, and also like people who are remote to introduce themselves also, and feel free to come on camera for this. But I feel it's important for us to acknowledge who we are, so if you would please introduce yourself, answer your name. What your name is, and then sort of what interests you about the course. I'm curious about your motivations for being here, and then if there's any questions that you'd like to talk about right here and now, I'm happy to answer them. So who would like to volunteer to go first? Yeah.
Hey, I'm Puya.
Hi, Puya.
I'm interested in learning how to program Android.
Great. Yeah, here for the Android. Excellent. Great. Excellent. Oh, good. Right on. Thanks. Thanks for being here. Yeah.
I'm Sam.
Hey, Sam.
I've never really done Java aside from 2 weeks in Carla's class, and never done mobile. So.
Nice. Oh, good. So Carla's still doing Java? Is that still a thing? Yeah, like 2 weeks? Yeah, okay, because I know some people it's been a little while.
Yeah, the last project's like learn Java in 2 weeks and into a project.
Oh, well then, great. Yeah, that should be easy. Yeah.
She knows advanced coding.
Okay, but you didn't have any coding in Java.
She like shows me the syntax code.
Okay, good. Because like,
I had to.
yeah.
That
So,
wasn't bad.
In pretty much one lab.
okay, so maybe like seeing it a little bit and gotten to see something a little good because it'll be good to sort of have that experience. But if you don't have it, it's okay because we're going to be doing some foundational stuff.
Science experience with high school.
Oh, AP can.
That's
Yeah.
where I see that.
Okay. Nice. Sorry, yeah, do you want to go?
Yeah, my name is Isaiah.
Isaiah?
Yeah, I have some past experience with working with Java. This is a while ago. But I still have some of my own projects.
Nice. Oh, good. So yeah, you've seen the IDE and everything like that. Oh, good. I'm curious to think what your experiences or to learn what your experience is going to be like coming back to Java and Android after a while. Great. Nice. See here, anybody who's remote, join us via Zoom, would like to introduce themselves. See a couple people on camera.
Hey, I'll go. I don't know what you can see, but my name's Andrew. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of, I mean, I'm a tech support manager at a software company, but I've sort of come back to PSU and I have quite a bit of experience with iOS development, so I was kind of interested to see the Android side of it.
Thanks, Andrew. So you're Ben, I see you're on camera. Yeah. Oh, I can't hear you. Are you soft or I don't think you're muted. Sorry, what? Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, maybe. There we go. Nope, still not. Oh, I need to get you one of those podcasting microphones. Look really awkward. All right. Yeah, we'll come back to you. Eli, I saw you came off video.
Yeah,
Video.
hi.
Hey.
My name is Eli, and I'm a master student in computer science. And I've been thinking about Java a long time, but haven't got a chance. So I saw this class during the summertime, and that's a perfect chance for me to learn something new. So that's my reason
Excellent.
to take the class.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Cool. Anybody else here in the classroom? Yeah. What have you seen so far? Awesome. Oh, how important is the IntelliJ IDE in terms of like, so you won't be graded on like, what's the menu item that does this? Nope. But when I show you code, it will be with IntelliJ. And I strongly recommend IntelliJ as an IDE. Although if you've got another IDE that you're used to, like VS Code, does a decent job of Java. I don't know if anybody's still using Eclipse.
I would strongly discourage people from using anything other than Intelligent for Java development. It's very good for Java. It will help you out.
Yeah, I agree. It's certainly the best tool. But just to be clear, I don't. It's not required for the course. If you want to use VI, go ahead. I think it'll be a struggle though, and you'll be missing out on the refactoring tools, the built-in experience for doing test-driven development, as you'll see in the coming weeks. Please give it a try. But then again, there'll be a quiz on IntelliJ.
There's a Vim plugin for IntelliJ that you might need to want.
Right on. Oh, cool. Anybody else like to introduce themselves? Right. Yeah.
My name is Alistair, and yeah, I'm just invested in some Android development in Java.
Awesome. Thanks. Cool. Well, we're definitely doing that. And that's originally, like many years ago, this was, of course, just a Java program. And that was great for a while, and it served its purpose. But then I realized that the things that I wanted to convey to you all, that I feel you need to more is more than just language, more than just a set of libraries. What really the Java ecosystem has turned into is this great platform and this community for writing clean, reusable code. And much there's a lot of the world that is powered still by these technologies, but more importantly is the concepts behind them and the development techniques. So I hope that much of what you learn in this course, even if you never write another line of Java again, will be timeless ideas that you'll be able to put into practice later on. I don't know, does that sound highfalutin? I'll let you be the judge. Cool. Well, thank you. I appreciate everybody who introduced themselves, and even if you didn't feel like introducing yourself tonight, you'll have an opportunity to meet people later. So one of the things, and we're getting a couple questions on it, but one of the things that's very important is just the nature of this course and how we meet. Now, I have marked this course as hybrid. The majority of our time together will be like this. I'll be talking to you, I will be demonstrating something, I'll be asking some questions and stuff, but it's fairly eyes forward one way. And I understand that you're all adults, you have lives, and you can, for the most part, take care of yourselves. So I feel strongly that I want you to have the flexibility to choose when you want to be here and choose when you want to be someplace else. So the scheduled time for this course is on Mondays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Here in my favorite room on campus. And most of the time we'll be doing in-class discussions, kind of like what we're having now. I'll be demonstrating things. We'll be doing activities, either in a small group or in, as the entire class participating. I open up the Zoom so that anybody can join remotely. Some people tonight have, and that's fine. I stream it out there live, and so then the Zoom is, you can find it on Canvas, on the Canvas homepage. That's where you can join there. I record all of the in-class sessions and post them on YouTube. I try to get it out there within 24 hours of the class. Usually get there the next day by noon. So that's what we'll be doing. Now, in terms of when you need to physically be here in the classroom, there are five classes out of all the classes that we meet that I ask that you be here. That's for our 2 pairing sessions, and these are, I think, all on Wednesday nights. Pairing on July 10th and the 17th, and then mob programming on the 31st and the 7th. And of course, there's also the final exam on August 14th. So please mark your calendars and be sure to be here in class on those days. The rest of the time, though, again, use your judgment. Attendance is not mandatory. There's this, whatever it is, I need to attest that, you've joined class. I don't take attendance per se. I'll look at things like what you committed to GitHub, your participation in the quizzes and things like that. Because again, you're adults and you can manage your time in the way that you do best. I will say though, that I truly believe that you'll have a better experience if you're here in class, in terms of engagement, in terms of being able to interact with me, interact with your peers, and interact with the material. But I don't require it because, again, we can figure it out. To that, I'd like you to. How am I going to do this? I got to get this URL to all of you. I'd like to hear about some of your experiences with hybrid learning, because this is still kind of new for me, especially now that we can, more effectively be back in the classroom, as we've all experienced things have kind of changed over the last 4 or 5 years. I'd like to know what's worked for you, what hasn't, and if there are some things that you'd like to share with either the rest of the class or with me in terms of how we can have a better learning experience together. So let's see here. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to post this link there into the, and I'll open it up here, into the Zoom, and then let's see here. Are you all on the Slack or the CS Slack? There is a joy of. It's not. I can put it on Canvas too. Actually, what's more important is is this link right here. So yeah, I think I can put it here. How do I? Let's see. Oh, I can just do it as a announcement, maybe. I'll create an announcement, and then document for capturing your experiences with hybrid learning. Will this work with everybody? I'll post it in the. We haven't talked about the. Oops. We haven't talked about the Slack channel yet, but oh, and it's not a hyperlink. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's lame. There we go. Update, publish. Nice. So let's see here. I will open up a breakout room for everybody who's remote. Actually, I might just do 2 of them. How many people are around? 10. I'll do 2 breakup rooms. Yes, breakout rooms. I'll let you all choose. I'll create 2 breakout rooms. And let's take 15 minutes and talk about our experiences with hybrid learning. Basically, just talk about things that have worked well for you, things that haven't worked well for you, any ideas that you have for this course, and then we'll take a couple of minutes to debrief after that. Guys, sneeze? Any questions before we get started? Yeah. This first set of slides, not so important. All the important slides are all linked off of the homepage. I'll talk about that after this activity. Yeah. Yeah. So please, I'm sorry. Please use this Google document to collaborate, and please here in the classroom, I don't know, break up into groups of like 3 or 4 people, maybe 5, and have a discussion about your experiences with hybrid learning. I'll pause the recording and open the breakout rooms.
Looks like the document isn't open.
No way, really? Did I? Okay. Some good conversations happening, some good discussions. Good. Thanks for getting to know each other and working together a little bit. Yeah, those of you who were in the breakout room, you might not have had a full 60 seconds after I said let's close things out. So I apologize for that. Maybe Zoom's a little different from the last time that I used it, so I thought you'd get a minute to finish up in the breakout room. But anyway, so sorry if that was a jarring experience for anybody. Thanks for collaborating and contributing to this document. I want to talk about some of the things that have worked well. So let's see here. Independence and being responsible for your own time. Good. That's important to me too. And oh yeah, allowing me to refer back to content when needed. Yeah, I want to make sure. Hey, I talk really fast. And it's Wednesday night, and it's probably the end of a long day, or sorry, it's Monday night right now. Be the end of a long day. Yeah, I want to make sure that if there's something that you want to go back and review, that you have the opportunity to do so. Gone are the days where you just scribble down everything I say. Freedom. Yeah, you go, George Michael. Quick email response. I certainly hope so. Actually, we'll talk about the best ways to contact me. Self-paced with lectures. I don't know how much it'll be self-paced. It's not like I assign everything on day 1 and then just let you do it whenever. So I can see where that would work. I don't know if that is, of course, isn't really structured that way though. But feel free to get a head start on other things. Actually, I've had students do that before in the past. It's worked out very well for them. Yep, people valuing the flexibility of hybrid learning and attending anywhere. Yeah, paying for parking and coming downtown. I mean. This time of year, it's still kind of light downtown, but yeah, when I teach in the winter, and it's like, oh yeah, let's all come down to downtown Portland on a rainy February evening, and yeah, make sure your car's in the broken into. So yeah, good. Yep, reviewing stuff and the freedom of being able to be where you want to be. Good. Okay. Yeah, and actually, I guess the courses usually start at 5:30 or 6 or whatever. So. Commuting by car can be a challenge to get down here. And yeah, the classes will be recorded, as are all the lectures, so you can go back and watch it, or put it on fast forward or at half speed, depending on how fast I go. Things that haven't worked well: lack of accountability. Could someone speak to that? So a lack of accountability from whom? You mean sort of you as a student because hey, it's too loose, or the professor because anything goes and they aren't there? Can someone help me understand that a little bit more? I want to make sure that,
I didn't like this, but
Yeah.
from my point of view, have really long deadlines,
Mm.
and so they did last minute.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Okay,
And, like,
good.
it's usually like, even if it's like small, short deadlines, it's usually a lot better. I think we're all pretty bad at procrastinating.
Well, you're actually good at procrastinating,
Yes.
right? Yeah, you're too good at procrastinating. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you were gonna say.
Oh, yeah, just once in a while. Last quarter,
Yep. Oh, I have that dream, like, at night. You're actually like living it, right? It's like, oh, that's right. I'm taking that Java class, and I haven't shown up for 3. Yeah, okay, yeah. And why is it all in French? Yeah, okay, right. You don't have that. You will. Don't worry. You will. Thanks. Yeah, procrastination. This is like with great freedom comes great responsibility. How does that go? Yeah, and so then and this is why I try to keep the course really structured. And actually, I'm trying something new this term with like the cones assignment that we'll talk about next week. Yeah, in years past, I've said, yeah, go take like the first 4 weeks to do that. And I think what I've found is that too many students save until the last minute. They don't really get what they need out of the assignment. So we're going to see how that works now that it's due 2 weeks after I assign it.
Is that paid? Is that done by like GitLab and updates the new?
It does. Yep.
Okay. So it's not getting run through a caching problem.
Oh, it may, because this is a JSON object that's yeah. So when in doubt, Control Shift R. Yep. I don't plan on changing it very much though. It ought to stay this way because I've already reflected everything in Canvas, so I wouldn't want to change that twice. Long distance peer collaboration. Yeah. So I mean, this is why I've learned that too the hard way. This is why when we do mobbing and pairing, I want everybody to be in the same room. I think you get a different experience, especially the first time that you do it. But in the 8-week version of the course, we only have 2 opportunities to pair, 2 opportunities to mob. When it's 11-week, there are 3, and so the rules are a little different. But yeah, collaborating over Zoom is just hard. User get distracted. Yeah, procrastination. Okay, good. Yeah, lack of social interaction. I'm glad someone called that out. It's healthy to interact with other people. Do it all the time, but you have to be worried about if you don't get enough human interaction and how that helps you perceive the world. Some classes have doubled the amount of material. That's a nice trick. Nope, this is the same amount of material as always been, which is a ton. So don't need to worry about that. Hard to engage. Yeah, group activities via Zoom. Other than like the little thing we just did, we're not really going to do that too much. Attention spans. Yeah, group assignments through Zoom. Okay. Oh yeah. And then working remotely for software jobs. Yep. Cool. I'm really interested in the third column though. Your ideas for the course. Question, difference between iOS and Android development. Why'd you opt for Android instead of iOS? It's Java-based. That's probably the biggest thing, right? I wanted to have one language for the entire course for the 8 weeks. No, I guess that's probably really it. Didn't want to learn a new language between frameworks. Is that Swift now? Yeah, right? Yeah. Objective-C. Yeah. Okay, good. Oh, good. Lively debate here. Great. Well, maybe that's something that as we get closer to Android, that's something I'm happy to talk about. Clear communication for when I'll check avenues of communication. Yes, I will. I'll talk about that a little bit with the syllabus. Take-home exam. Nope, not this term. In-person office hours. Yeah, sure, happy to do that. Although I'm only here on Wednesdays and Wednesdays and Mondays, so I don't live on. I'm not here on campus. Thanks for the shout out on how you structured it, on how I structured it. Good. Okay, awesome. I appreciate you sharing all of this. And I appreciate taking some time just to talk with some other people, get to know each other. they'll be working with each other throughout the course. You'll have multiple opportunities to do so, and it's all part of what I hope that we can experience is working together. Thanks. Okay, back to this. So what's next? Let's talk about the syllabus for the course. This is one of the more technical details about the course, and then we'll use Git and GitHub to get ready for the projects. So let's go over the syllabus. Okay. So, oh yeah, and by the way, I'll just post it here for anybody who's looking. This is also on the Canvas homepage. This is the homepage for the course. It has links to all the materials. I like this so much better than Canvas, and so I've been doing it this way for years, and it works good for me. So sorry if it means multiple places for you all to have to look. Okay. So welcome again to the Joy of Coding. So again, what we're looking to do here is explore these topics in contemporary software development, and we're going to be using Java and Android to do that. We'll have we have all the lectures, like the lecture material is up on YouTube. As a matter of fact, you can link, you can get to those things by looking here at the course homepage. So, for instance, the first lecture is all about Git and GitHub, and so you can click on this link here to get the slides. You can print them off if you want to. If there are some people that like to have the paper and be able to highlight things. So that's the whole idea here, is to be able to have slides like this that you can print out or look at online. And then every lecture also has a screencast associated with it. This is me talking like my Kermit the Frog voice, also known as my voice, all about the content. So for if you're someone who learns best when you can see things and hear things, I recommend this method of learning. If you just want to read things, then you can get it here, although you probably don't get the insightful commentary that comes with the screencasts. We'll also be having our in-class discussions like we've been doing today. I'll be demonstrating a lot of things, and then we'll be working together in mobs and pairs to explore what it's like to build software together. There's a multi-phase project for the course, and we will begin talking about that, I want to say next week? When do we, sorry, again, this is all new. Yeah, we'll assign project 1 next Monday. That is built up in 5 phases and then culminates. It starts off as a very simple command line program for doing some stuff, and then culminates in the Android project with some nice scenery along the way, like nice text formatting APIs and a REST client server. And there'll also be quizzes and the quizzes in the course, including one which was assigned tonight, I believe. The first one, yeah, I'm pretty sure that the first quiz opens up tonight. I try to keep the calendar in Canvas accurate and up to date. So yeah, quiz 1 is due next Wednesday and ought to be open now. Let's go to this one. And then there's the final exam. We'll talk about the details of that later in the course. So I talked about the themes in the slide deck, but here are the topics that we're going to cover. So we're going to talk about a lot of Java stuff, language syntax, but then probably more importantly and maybe newer to you, some of the standard Java class libraries, like for doing utility work and for learning about I/O. We'll also be talking a lot about unit testing and how to build tests for Java programs, taking a test-driven approach to development, and then also some tools for building more complex Java projects. We'll be working in pairs and ensembles to code with others, and we'll learn about object-oriented programming and code refactoring, how to structure your code so that it can evolve more easily, be more approachable to the people that look in the future, and one of those people might be you. We'll learn about web application development, sort of the fundamental things by building a REST API. So to be clear, this is of course in HTML and JavaScript and React and all that kind of stuff. Just not time for that in the course. I chose to do Android instead. but you will be learning about HTTP and REST and what all that means. Oh, well, we learn a little bit about the dependency injection design pattern, but we learn it for testing with mock objects, and so we'll talk about what that means later on in the course. And then, of course, we end with a couple of weeks talking about using Android to develop small device user interfaces. So quite a lot in the course. There's something new and different every week, which I hope is exciting and compelling for you, but it also means that there's a lot of stuff to keep up with. Always important to set expectations about grading. So here's what they are. We'll have that multi-phase project, 5 phases this term, and also the Java koans, which we'll talk about next time. This will be built up over the entire term. So let's see here, I think like 1 project is assigned every week, and I think you have 2 weeks to each project, and that adds up to 60% of your grade. So I mean, this is why this is a program-intensive course for undergraduates. The vast majority of your grade is determined by the work that you do programming. There are also 8 quizzes on the topics that are covered in the lectures, and that you apply in your projects. I dropped the lowest grade, and each one of those is worth 3% for a total of 21%. And they're all administered on Canvas, and so they open up, I think, 2 weeks before they're due. Additionally, there are 2 what I call reflection assignments, where you are asked to describe your experience pair programming, and another one where you're asked to describe your experience mob programming. This is, let's see, oh, and by the way, there are 2 opportunities to experience each, and I'd like you all to participate in all 4 sessions so that you have 2 opportunities to basically experience pairing mobbing the first time and then do it again the next week when you're a little bit more experienced. Each one of those reflections is worth 3.5% of your grade, which leaves 12% for the final exam. So, kind of the way it works is that the final exam doesn't let you pass or fail the course. It's only worth 12%. So this isn't the kind of course where you can just do nothing the entire term, show up for the final exam, ace it, and then pass. Final exam is important. It sort of determines what letter grade you'll get, but it doesn't determine whether or not you'll pass or fail. And the final exam is comprehensive for all the material for the course. Now, when it comes to grading and when projects are due, hey, I acknowledge life happens, and that you think you have all your code working right before it's due, and they make one change and everything's broken. And if you're doing test-driven development and using GitHub, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. But the policy is that you've got 2 late days to use during the term. They can be applied to any project, and so and I keep track of all of this stuff. So you don't have to. I know when your projects are submitted and stuff, and we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. So you've got 2 late days to use, and you may, if you get your grade and you're like, oops, I had a fundamental flaw in my program and I failed all of the tests, you may resubmit 1 project for grading within a week of the original grading. So fundamental bugs, go ahead and fix them, and we'll gladly regrade them. Otherwise, my policy is that no other late work will be accepted. That's what I write on the piece of paper. That is the syllabus. That being said, I want you to succeed in the course. And I know that sometimes it requires several chances to succeed. So please, if you've already used your late days, or you're like, oh, I want to save my resubmission for later, reach out. And I want you to reach out because I want you to build the skills to have a conversation with somebody about your work, and to learn how to negotiate. Don't assume that I've made some determination about your assignment. Let's work together, because again, I'm here to help you succeed. I'm here to give you the information that I think you need to know to do well in the course. And so, don't give up. I'd much rather engage someone in a conversation about giving them a couple extra days or helping them out with a problem than just giving someone a bad grade because they didn't try. There is a grading, or rather, I offer up a curve, but really there's not usually much of a curve. The way that the course is paced, the number of assignments and stuff, everybody's numeric grade usually conforms to the standard letter grade. So, but I reserve the right. So let's say, hey, we've got, I don't know, things go really bad and there are lots of people with lower grades. I'll scale people up if necessary. We're really reluctant to scale people down. And back to the question about the graduate version of the course, the content's the same, the projects are the same, but each section will have its own curve if I choose to apply it, which I usually don't. Don't cheat. Haven't had a cheating problem in a couple of years, but it's only been a couple of years, so it's something they keep an eye on. If you cheat, bad things will happen. F in the course. Write a letter home to your mom saying that you don't do it. It's just awful. It's just awful, and it makes more work for everybody. And most of all, you don't learn when you copy somebody else's work. You're here to learn. I use this tool. Actually, it's pretty old, but it works really well for detecting software plagiarism. And so then, again, don't do it. To be clear, though, for like what does cheating mean? Yes, all the quizzes are online, but you are not to consult any online resources like Google or Stack Overflow or ChatGPT or anything like that, or any books like that when taking the quizzes. The quizzes are meant to be your own work from what's in your brain or what you've learned over the last couple of weeks. The official wording of from the department is that cheating is submitting for credit work that you do not create, or allowing your work to be submitted as the work of another student. For me, it's okay to draw pictures with other people if you're like hanging out, or if you're like working together on something else and you're sort of talking about things. That's great, but don't let anybody see your code. The code that you write for your projects. So please, we'll be talking shortly about how to set up your GitHub repository. Make sure that it's private. And if you happen to come across someone, a former student has made their code public, do not look at it, please. This way there can be no question about plagiarism. Now, to be clear, there is work in this class that is collaborative. That mobbing, that pairing, the stuff that you do together during class, yes, of course you can look at other people's code. Some people have asked. Yes, that's the whole intent. This is collaborative by nature. It's what we're doing in those activities. But everything else, your quizzes and your projects, that is individual work and must be done as an individual. But if you have a question, please ask. It's like, hey, can I buddy up with somebody on project 3? Well, we know. But please buddy up with someone when you're doing pair programming. If you want more details about the academic misconduct document, there it is. And if you want to use an AI assistant for the course, I'm open to it, but I want to know what your experiences are. I don't know if it would help you or not, honestly. I'm kind of curious about that. So if you do, I don't know, let's talk about it. To see, to see like what it would do for you. Because again, I don't use AI assistants. We kind of can't. But I want to know like what it'll do for you, because it's maybe something that I want to integrate into the course in the future, or prohibit from the course in the future. I just don't know. Actually, before I go into the huge thing of miscellany, any questions so far? Sorry, I probably should have stopped here in terms of the course. Yeah.
So as far as the AI assistants, what are the boundaries to it, I guess?
I don't know. I mean, if your AI assistant is like somebody on the other side of the world writing your code for you, no, right? But hey, there's like Copilot, IntelliJ has things where like and it's like freaking good, right? You start typing. Well, autocomplete, yeah, right. For me, there's like a difference between like I'm starting to type a method name and it completes the method name versus I'm starting, I type the name of a method and it populates the entire method with what it thinks.
But that's what a lot of the AI systems do nowadays. So that's why
and so like I guess if that's something that you explicitly enable, let me know. And again, it's not good or bad. I don't know yet. I'm really curious about what your experiences are. And so then before you click the accept, or like as you're like, gosh, this makes it so much easier. I just want to know if it makes it easier for you or not.
I'd say in my experience, it's like 50-50.
Right, yeah.
Oftentimes you misunderstand what you're attempting to do. So, but sometimes it gets it perfectly right. It knows exactly what you're trying to do.
Right. So,
I don't know.
yeah, we'll see. Thanks for asking. Yeah.
How about like how long or like what's the structure of the quizzes?
The questions, yeah, good point. The quizzes are almost exclusively short answer, and so it's asking about a concept or something within the lectures is like, oh, or like maybe give 5 examples of this API or something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
For the multi-page project,
Yep.
it's an individual project.
Individual project, yes.
And are we all going to be building the same app?
Yes. Yes. You all have the same requirements to fulfill. For the first project, everything but Android, there is a command line interface in the case of REST API or REST API interface, which is specified. That's what I test against. But the implementation is all your own. You've got some of my classes to reuse, which is all part of the assignment. But yes, that's sort of the boundaries for that. Yep.
In a way, we're kind of writing the front end based on it that you already have. Is that what you're saying? Or am I misunderstanding?
No, no. It's more like and we'll see this more next week when we talk about Project One, or next time when we talk about next week when we talk about Project One. But yeah, the whole idea is that I give you a little bit of structure or framework to begin with, sort of teach you about how to use inheritance and how to work with somebody else's code. But then the vast majority, all the logic and everything, is really all yours to write.
I noticed on campus there's an individual one for final.
Yeah. Later. Yeah, we'll talk about the final exam later. But yeah, there's a group and an individual, so that's why you got to be here in person. Guess what? We're working together as part of the final exam. Yeah. Cool. Good questions so far. Got any more of them? Yeah.
Know the details of how you want us to set up the GitHub project online.
You bet.
I
Yeah.
have to,
Yeah. Oh, you can. Yeah. It'll all be recorded and stuff.
okay.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. Hope to see you Wednesday. Gosh, we're doing this again soon. Nice. Cool. Okay. Yep. So this is sort of the overview of the course. Don't cheat. Oh my gosh, so much miscellany. So everything's available on via the website. As I showed you, there's stuff on YouTube. When I get the recording for this lecture, I'll link to it on the website also. You'll see it show up as screencasts for that week. And please, the intention for the lectures is that you review them before class. So, like, hey, listen, I don't expect you to have already read the stuff for the first week, but like next week when we start talking about the Java programming language, so if you could between now and Wednesday, find a little while to go through this content, so that we can then have a good conversation about the Java programming language. So please review the lectures before class. Yeah. No, this is okay. So yeah, no question. A good question. The textbook, I should even put this in quotes. I don't follow clean code. I think it's a good book to have, honestly. And so there are a lot of concepts that we talk about here. But this isn't like, okay, turn your hymnals to page 5, and this is what we're going to talk about this week. Quite frankly, that sounds excruciating to teach. I can't imagine teaching to a textbook. I mean, that just takes all of the thought out of like what I do. So, I don't know. Yeah. So. Exactly. Yeah. But really, to be clear, I believe that all the materials that you need to be successful in the course are referenced on this page. The textbook is not one of them. Although, boy, it's got like a lot of good advice. So, hey, maybe if you want to shell out the money now, great. If you want to say, hey, for a holiday gift or a birthday present or something, have your aunt give you one of these instead of knitting you a sweater or something. I'm sure your aunt knits lovely sweaters.
I don't know, that's really asking this question, so
That's good.
don't take it as like a personal attack. I see a lot of like hate online for clean code and like it's very polarizing.
Yep.
Especially now. Do you have any thoughts about that or like why that is?
Well, I could go into sort of why it is, and some of it is, from what I understand, some statements that the author has made. Okay. However, there's also some of the language is in there. Maybe hasn't aged well. But there's also just the natural tendency, the natural tension in any profession, but especially ours, which is still very young and still is not as structured, regulated, accredited like other professions are. And so then, I think there's a natural tendency to say, listen, you're saying I should do things that way. That doesn't match my experience. Okay. So again, I don't follow the textbook. There are some, but I have to admit, in my objective opinion, a number of the things, a number of the technical practices that Bob Martin advocates for, I think are useful. And I use some of his material in this course. I also use material from a lot of other people. And one of the things that I have made a deliberate effort to do in the last couple of years is cite my sources. I've sort of realized it's like, a long time ago, I would just say, go find a good book and everything like that. It's like, no, I want to call out the people that whose ideas, whose materials have influenced me. And so, like you'll see in the in some of the more recent lectures, like the Git lectures, and certainly the pair programming, mob programming. I cite all sorts of good sources because this doesn't just come from me in my head. This comes from people who have learned things through trial and error and are sharing it with others. This is great. I haven't had this many students in the classroom for a very long time, and I've forgotten how great it is to have people ask questions and engage in a dialogue. So thank you for showing up tonight. Don't wait until the last minute to start the projects. There's a lot of work there, so don't wait. We'll be talking more about documentation in a couple of weeks, but document your code as you write it. Don't wait until the end to go back and add all the documentation. As you're writing it, call out through good names and through Java docs. We'll see that later. What it is that your code's doing. Please ask questions. Again, I'm here for you. You're doing yourself a disservice if you leave the classroom with unanswered questions. If you leave the course, if you finish the course, what? How is that supposed to work? I never really understood that. You're paying good money to be here. Please get a return on that investment. And you're taking the time to be here, actually. Get a return on that investment, too. This is a senior level course that is cross-listed with a graduate section. If there are other courses that you're taking this term that are also a lot of programming intensive, that we're going to be doing a lot of stuff, operating systems course or compilers don't really teach anymore, make sure that you're doing the right thing for you and your workload and your ability to be successful. I'll give you lots of code examples, so please go home and play with them. Look at the code, navigate through IntelliJ. That's what it's there for, right? A lot of what we do in this class is learn by example, learn through coding. Let's see here. Oh, my office hours. It's the hour before class. I think I'll be here in the classroom. So feel free to join me or join on Zoom if you're remote. I'll be online. Let's see here. Oh, in terms of real-time communication, I think some of the things people ask about are how do I talk to you? Really, the most efficient way is to use Slack. So I created a Joy of Coding, the Joy of Coding, a channel here in Slack. And so let's see, there's an invitation on, I think, the Canvas homepage. Yep. There's a link here to join the channel. Please do that. That's where I communicate out to all of you things like, hey, the recording's ready, or hey, we got to reschedule class because there's a snowstorm or whatever, which hopefully there won't be this time of year. Hopefully it won't be wildfires though. That would suck. I know, right? Yeah. It's happened the last 2 times I've taught in the winter. It's like
Hitting the slopes.
Yeah, slopes hit you. But you can also email me. The easy to remember email is whitlock@cs.pdx.edu. If you use the @pdx.edu, that is whitlowcd. That is whitlowcd. Oops! Don't click on the email link. Okay, good. Please use this one. But if you type, I'm David Whitlock comp sci, because there was, and maybe there still is, another David Whitlock at Portland State. When I send you the grades for your projects, they're sent from a grader email account, and but that one, but sometimes that gets marked as spam. So please check your junk folder for those emails. And again, the course webpage is www.csapdx.edu/tilde-whitlock, and that's like the place to get all of the information. So I encourage you to visit that often. Very shortly, we'll be talking about the survey script, but that's the first thing you should do in the course. Actually, the second after you create your GitHub repository, we'll do that because this is what tells me who you are, and this allows me to populate my little gradebook application that I've developed over many years that helps me automate and streamline a lot of the grading and reporting of grades and everything like that, which then frees me and the grader to focus on the more interesting stuff, which is providing you feedback on your work. Lots of information there. Any questions? Okay. Yeah. Have I posted the syllabus on Canvas? The syllabus is available there on the course homepage. You can get it there. Okay. No. By just clicking it here. Yeah, I didn't want to have to duplicate it in 2 places. Or actually, duplicate it. Got it? Cool. Okay. I realize that you haven't had a break yet. You probably need one. Let's take 10 and then come back and do some Git and GitHub. Okay, and we're back. Okay, everybody, hope you had a chance to stretch your legs, sort of let some stuff flow out of your head because we're going to put a bunch more stuff back in. We're sort of done with like the overview of the course, and now let's get started with some coding stuff. So for several years now, I've been using Git and version control the entire time I've been teaching, but I've integrated it more and more into the course for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's a great tool to use. This is, I think when you look back at the tools that have changed how software is done, version control, and in particular Git, has just fundamentally changed how we approach managing our code and how we collaborate with others. So it's a great tool, and it makes it easier. And one of the ways that we communicate, that I leverage Git and GitHub for communication, is that this is how you get started with the course. There's a bunch of bootstrapping things, a bunch of setup that I realized that it's a lot for the first week to figure out. So what can I do to streamline it? And I found that GitHub could help me with that. So that's what we're going to cover here in the remainder of class. Is that we'll set up a GitHub repository for each one of us to work in the course. If you got your laptop and you want to play along, feel free to participate in real time. Raise your hand if I'm going too fast or if there's a step that I missed. But yeah, let's dive into it. So it all starts with a GitHub repository. I have a GitHub organization called Joy of Coding PDX. Joy of Coding was already taken. I didn't want to put a "the" in front of it. So this is us, Joy of Coding PDX. All the repositories for this course are in this project, and so then tonight we'll be dealing with the Getting Started repository. But there's also the Joy of Coding repository, which has like all of my code. We'll see this later. Probably
It's primarily made for running on Linux.
Is what made for running on Linux?
This repo.
No. Yes, but we'll get there. Okay, we might get there next week, though. Is that right? Yes, we'll get there next week. But to answer the question, you can develop using this repository on Windows or Linux. You can do the vast majority of everything you need to do in Windows Linux. But as we'll see shortly, you need to create the projects on the CS Department's Linux machines, and you'll be submitting the project from the CS Department's Linux machines. So that's why, out of the box, the repository is geared towards Linux. Follow along. Yes. Yep. So let's get started. So let's see here. Everybody in the meeting. Let's see here. So the Getting Started repository is there. I'll also post this in the Slack for let's get started with our GitHub repositories. Okay. So this is a repository that doesn't have very much. It's got some scripts for creating projects. It's got the submit script for submitting projects and the survey script that we'll look at tonight. And it's got a big old README that I encourage you to read over because it really tells you how to get started and gives you some important stuff to do. So then let's just get started. Now, actually, how many of you have used Git before? Show of hands. Oh, good, it's everybody. Who has used GitHub before? Yeah, it's good. Everybody's got an account and everything. Okay, good. That being said, if maybe it's been a while, or you just like a refresher, or maybe there's some advanced things like branching that you'd like to know more about, please take a look at the lecture that I have. I tried to go into the appropriate amount of detail so that you can be successful with the course. This repository is it was called a template in GitHub, which means that I can create another repository from this one. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to create a new repository from this template. And I'd like you all to do the same. So choose, okay, this is the template that I want. You don't need to include the branches. I am going to put this, should I put this in my organization? Nah, I'll put it in the Joy of Coding organization. And I am going to call it Joy of Coding Summer 2024. Oops, 2024. And here again, these instructions are there in the README. A description, you can add it. You can say, let's see here, code that we write in the Joy of Coding during the summer of 2024. When you create a repository, you can make it public or private. I'm going to make mine public so that you can all see my work. You're going to make yours private. Please create a private repository in your organization, not in Joy of Coding. A private repository in your organization, so I would choose David Whitlock here, which maybe I should do. Yeah, I can do that, I guess. No, that might be confusing. I can always move it later. Anyway, I'll create the Joy of Coding in my, I'll do it in Joy of Coding, sorry. Joy of Coding Summer 2024. I'm going to do it in the group. You're going to do it in your individual one. Yours will be private. Mine will be public. Okay. And I say create repository. So this goes and creates a new repository, and we'll populate it with the files from the template. Yes?
How do we base off of your template without the fork?
You use the use template. So yeah, this is something new, comparatively new, right? You don't fork it. You say use this template. Right. Yeah. So now I've got my very own Joy of Coding Summer 2024 repository. As you can see, it's got one commit in it. It was the one that was just created. Okay, question. Do I need to use my PSU GitHub account for this class, or if I can use a personal account? Go ahead and use your personal account. I didn't realize there were a PSU GitHub account. Use whatever account you want. Doesn't matter to me. It just needs to be private, and so you need to make sure your account can create private repositories. That's, I think, the only thing that we need to worry about. Great. So now I've got this repository. Let's walk through what it is. So the whole idea is that this repository allows you to, well, there's a place for the work in this course, and there are some scripts to help you get started. So, yep, create a Joy of Coding Summer 2024 repository and make sure that it is private. I also encourage you to make me a collaborator on your repository so that I can look at your code if you have questions about it. This isn't required by any means, but I've found that it really makes it easier for me to help you when I can look at your code and I can help you debug things, you can put up a pull request, especially if something kind of gets messed up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working with this repository, and what we're going to accomplish tonight is running the survey script that will well, that is what you use to tell me all about yourself. So let's see here. Oh, interesting. I don't have a git clone. Okay, I see. So I'm going to, let's see here, I guess I don't need that yet. I am going to log in to one of the CS Department Linux machines at, sorry, linux.c, yeah, there we go. Sorry, let me put this down here so you can see it. So my username for the CS Department machine is Whitlock, so I'm going to SSH into linux.ccs.pdx.edu, which is the Linux cluster. Hopefully this is familiar to all of you. Has everybody used the Linux machines, PSU, before in other courses? Okay, if you don't have access to one, go see the CAT folks who can get you set up. So I'm going to log into this. I'm going to make a clone of the repository. Now, cloning a GitHub repository makes basically a local copy of the repository. I like to keep my Git repositories organized, and so I put them in a folder called Git in a subfolder which corresponds to the name of the organization, in this case, Joy of Coding PDX. I'm going to clone this repository by getting the URL here. Now, I have my Git set up to use SSH key based authentication. Feel free to use the GitHub CLI or HTTPS, but I'm going to use this here, and I think I have some links in the repository's README on how to learn more about that. So I'm going to clone that repository to the current directory. It's going to ask me for my passphrase. Okay, so it's now done a clone, right? So cloning takes a repository from one location from GitHub, clones it to your local machine. Now I'm going to go back to the instructions, and right, I'm going to go to the Joy of Coding Summer 2024 directory. Okay, and so as we can see, it's got a bunch of files in it, and these are the same files that were in the repository. So far, are these concepts familiar to you? Git clone and such? Okay, yes? Okay, good. I'm never sure how much Git stuff to assume with students, so thank you for acknowledging that. Now, we're about to run our first Java program, so we need to make sure that that Java is installed and the right version of it is. And so then I think I have my environment set up to be running. Oh, it's running Java 21 now. I should probably update that in the README. It's good to know. And if you want, but your environment might not be set up to do that. And so I have some instructions here about how to do that. Actually, for those of you, if you type Java space dash version, what do you see? Does it find Java on your on your Linux account? It does, and does it say what version it is?
21.
Oh, okay, good. Is that what other people are seeing too? Yeah. Sorry, what? Okay. Oh, on the CS department's machines? Okay, right. You'll need to do it on your local machines too, but we'll probably cover that more next time. Okay, good. So if you're on the CS department's machines and verify that you're running a version of Java, version 21 is good. Yeah, it used to be that you had to run the add package command, and so maybe if maybe this isn't necessary anymore. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's not. Things change, and maybe just oops. Yep, it's that way now. Okay then. Also, we'll see it next time, but you'll also need to install the Java Development Kit, the JDK, on your personal machine. And I recommend that you do that, through Adoptium or, or if there's another distribution that you want. But Adoptium makes it super easy. Oops, get that out of there. Sorry. There we go. Yeah, Adoptium is it offers basically the OpenJDK, which is an open source implementation of the Java runtime for really any platform. Well, most platforms, certainly any platform that you're using. Makes it really easy to install. It comes with like native OS packaging things like Windows installers and RPMs and all that kind of good stuff. So highly recommend using that to configure your own environment. Great. So far, has everybody who's playing along at home have been able to create your GitHub repository, clone it to the CS department systems, and verify that you have Java? Yep. Yes. Yep. It should be. I'm pretty sure I'm testing with Java 22 now. So yeah. Yeah. Yes. Oh, great question. So let's see here. Okay. So yeah, there's a whole. I have some things here, but here are some links to how to use SSH keys, which is my preferred technique because I've been using them since the last century, or personal access tokens. But actually, though, I've in terms of getting started, I've become a kind of a fan of um, the GitHub command line tool, which actually, is that available on the CS machines? Which GH? Nope. Oh, maybe it doesn't have it. Okay. So the GitHub command line tool is nice because it takes care of authenticating for you. So maybe you want to use that on your local machine, but otherwise, yeah, using SSH keys. Actually, the personal access token, does that, can you use that with just plain old GitHub command line? Oh, yeah, here we go for the command line. Oh, right. Okay, so what you do is if you're going to clone an HTTPS URL, then you have your username's username, then you use one of these personal access tokens for your password. So, yep, yeah, you can do it that way too, although I'm not going to remember that. So, sorry, what?
Your SSH keys have to be password protected.
Yes, yeah. Well, okay, it's right. It sucks to, or rather, it is a challenge to have to type your, every time you do a GitHub command, you have to type your passphrase. So what I do is I run the SSH agent, and so you can check the recording for this, or maybe I'll put it into the preview someday. So I run the SSH agent in the background, and then you can use SSH add to add your key, and this way you only need to type your passphrase for your key store once, and now you can do a git pull, and it'll automatically use the key to access it. Yeah, so like when I'm logged into like my local machine, I always have the SSH agent running, and then when I log into the PSU machine, as you can see, I had there in my command history. By the way, okay, another thing that you need to know about me in this course, I'm one of those keyboard shortcut people. And so for me, the keyboard shortcuts help, my fingers go as fast as my brain and my mouth are talking. So like you might have noticed, I'm here in Bash, and so I did Control R for searching the Bash history up. And so like sometime recently, I have typed like that eval statement right here. So I don't, this reduces my cognitive load. I don't have to remember what the hell the command line is. I just search my history for it. And so I encourage you to do the same. When you see me using IntelliJ, I'll use the menus like the very first time, but the menu's too slow for me. Instead, I use the command lines. I use the keyboard shortcuts. Luckily, I have an IntelliJ plugin that'll pop up a little balloon saying, "Oh yeah, Dave just typed F6, and here's what it means." So so that's me going fast. Let me know if I'm going too fast or if you want me to repeat something, because that's important because I demonstrate this not only to go fast, but to show you how to do it. So because I think it'll make you a more efficient coder and let you go faster. And again, let the physical parts of your body keep up with the mental parts. Okay. Oops. The first thing that you need to do after you create your repository is log on to the CS department's machine and run the survey script that's there in the directory. So run the survey script. By the way, I prefix my commands with // which means, when I run a script from the current working directory, I prefix it with // just in case dot is not on your executable path. So you might not need to say // but I always do sort of out of habit. So I'm going to run the survey script. And what the survey script does is that it asks you some questions about yourself that, that's cool, that then get put into a little XML file and emailed to me. And I use that XML file as input into my gradebook program. And this is what I use to record all of your grades. So first name, David. Last name, Whitlock. Nickname, if you've got one, or if like you have a sort of an official name and then a more colloquial name that you use. It's really important that you provide me your Unix login ID and that this matches the. Actually, no, sorry. That you provide the login ID, your Unix login ID. Mine is Whitlock. Oops, come on, there you go. Is that? Email address, you can use whatever you want. Again, I use this to like email you your grades and things like that. I'm just curious about you. I want to know what your major is, computer science. And whether or not you're an undergraduate or a graduate, this will help me know who's a graduate and who's undergraduate. I'll say I'm an undergraduate. And then so in a couple of weeks, we will, when we do mobbing and pairing, we'll all be collaborating together on a repository that is in the Joy of Coding PDX organization. And I want to make you a collaborator on that, and so I need to add your collaborator so that you can push changes up to that repository. And in order to do that, I need to know what your GitHub username is. Now, I can detect what your GitHub username is because the script is running from a GitHub checkout. So I can go find the little configuration file inside of GitHub. Okay. Maybe you couldn't find it, or maybe there's a problem. Thank you for pointing that out. So then, right. So I want to know what your GitHub username is so that I can add you as a collaborator to the repository. But however, if it's not something that you want to share with me right now, that's fine. We can work it out. I do want to say yes. And what do I hope to learn in the Joy of Coding? I want to say a lot. And then anyway, this is like, is there anything else you want to tell me type thing. Oh, interesting. I said the GitHub username is Joy of Coding PDX. Well, that ain't right. Oh, no, actually, no. No, actually, no. This is that is correct because actually mine is in the organization name. So I think it ought to be, oops, okay, that information is correct. No, I don't think. Well, let's just take a moment then. Let's come back to this in 5 minutes because it's important. Yeah, question? Oh, when you log into one of the CS machines, uh, like your username is the login ID. Like when you log into one of the PSU Linux machines, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or where else is that login ID used? It's not for email anymore. No, it's only. And actually, does it matter that much? It might not. If you want to use your like your PSU like email name, use that too. That should be fine. We can always fix it later. So when you run the survey program, it creates a file called me.xml. I'm just going to take a look at that real quick. And it's an XML file that has the information that you entered, like your user ID and your name, and the GitHub user ID, and then I don't know, make little notes about what you learned and things like that. And then this is what's used that I use for my program. And I also emailed, I also emailed that off to my account so that I can then pull it down and start getting used with the grade book. The next thing to do is to commit that me.xml file to the Git repository. It is used by the scripts that create your projects. We'll start seeing that on Wednesday. So it's important that it's there with your other code. So you say git add to add it to the to put it under version control. Say git add me.xml, and then we're going to commit that change. Actually, we can say git status to see what we've changed. We just added a new file called me.xml. So we're then going to say git commit the change, and we'll say added information about myself. Oops. From the survey program. And so that commits the change to the repository. So now if we do a git status, we'll see that there aren't any changes anymore. And now I'm going to do a git push, which will push the change up to GitHub. And now if we then go and reload our reload our page, we'll see that it now has wow, it is just super annoying today. It will, it says the last commit that was made was me adding information about myself to the survey program. So this is the life cycle of what you do with Git. You make some changes, you create some files, you add them to the repository, you commit them to the repository, and then you push them up to GitHub so you can share it in other places. How's everybody doing following along at home? So is everybody able to run the survey program okay? Okay. Oh, the keys and everything? Yeah, that's
fixed, but I wiped out the repo and cloned this time using SSH instead of UPS.
Oh, interesting. Oh, so it doesn't work the
But
same
it's also
way.
because it could also be because I had it in an S repo. I had it in another folder.
That might do it. Yeah, thank you. Yep. Okay.
So it probably broke.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that. That's okay. Yeah, you figured out where it was. Yeah. Question. Yep. Yes, that's the right place. Yep. Yeah, and I think you ought to have received a receipt email also from this that just says, "Yep, you recorded it, or rather, you ran the program. Thank you very much."
So run the survey, then we're on the submit after we.
You actually don't need to run submit yet. That'll be submitting projects. We'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. Yep. That's okay. Yeah.
I'm getting some. Maven is upset with me after my. Is that normal in this process?
Yeah, I think so. You got an email from. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I'll touch on that now. We'll go into more detail about continuous integration in a couple of weeks. But yeah, some of you might be actually. I'm curious about why. What's Maven upset about actually?
Some jobs were not successful.
Okay. I don't know if I would expect that or not. I would hope that just sort of out of the box things would run okay, but maybe not. I don't know. Let me look. Okay, so since we've got a couple of minutes, okay, those are both successful.
I ended up moving all this code into a set directory.
It might. Yeah. So more specifically, what did you do?
So I created my repo template.
Yep.
Cloned it. Once I was in there, I created a get started directory that could be used for projects.
You won't.
Oh, okay.
So okay, that's a good point. I should have made that more clear. This is the intent. Is that this is the one repository that you use for all the code that you write on your own in this class. There will be a separate repository for the pairing and mob programming that we do, and we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. But yes, so all your projects will be created in this repository using the create script. We'll talk about the first one next week. And then yeah, the intent is that your code is all managed in this repository. Yep. And so what he was pointing out is the continuous integration that is associated with this repository. I'll touch on it briefly here. We'll go into more detail in a couple of weeks. But one of the super cool things about GitHub is that when you push changes up, GitHub can, well, test your changes, can build your project. And so I have this configured such that every time you make a change, it will basically build all the code for you and let you know if there's a problem, which is great, right? Because I mean, you're sitting there, you're making your changes, and of course you're doing test-driven development, so all the new code has changed. But maybe you've broken something else, didn't go back and run your tests. Well, when you push that code up, GitHub will go through and validate everything for you. Okay. How's everybody else doing? Still, yeah, working on SSH keys, but I'm seeing some thumbs up. Like, okay, good. Excellent. Yeah. Okay. So here I am on the PSU machine, and the next thing I think I'll just show tonight is, let me get the other window back up. Interesting. Okay. I am so over on the right. I'm here on the PSU machine, and over here on the left, I'm on my local machine on my laptop here. And now I'm going to I'm going to make a clone of my repository here on my local machine. So I try to keep things organized when it comes to my Git repositories. So here I have my /PSU/Git directory, and in it I have a Joy of Coding PDX directory. And here I'm going to make another clone of that repository. And so now I've got a Joy of Coding summer 2024 repository right here that has all the information that I'm looking for, including my me.xml. So this is all here. And so I encourage you to do the same. Make a local clone, because this is how you're going to be working with your code. On the PSU machines, you create the beginnings of your project. As we'll see next time. Let's see, got 20 more minutes. Maybe I'll do it now. Okay, this is one of those points where it's like, I've never covered this material in 2 sessions before. So let's see here. What we're going to do next time, we're going to create the cones. Yeah, let's see here. Nah, I don't want to skip too far ahead, so I'll be disciplined. But what you'll do is you'll first create your projects on the PSU machines running one of these create scripts, like there's a create first project script. You'll run that. That'll create the first project. We'll do that in a couple of weeks. And then that will generate some files to get you started with that first project. You'll commit those from the PSU machine, push them up to GitHub, and then on your local machine, on your developed machine, you'll pull down those changes and work locally with IntelliJ. This will, okay, and then so you'll work there, and you can commit to the local GitHub repository. You can push that up to GitHub, and you'll as you're working with your code. And then when you're ready to submit your code, you submit your code from the PSU machines, and so then we'll see how to do that in a couple of weeks. And then you'll run the submit script over here on the PSU machines to then submit your code, which bundles the code and zips it up and emails it to me, so that I can grade it. So we'll be using Git and GitHub a lot in this course, just for the day-to-day stuff, and of course for the collaboration that we do in the mobbing imperative. Anything else for today? Any other questions? If not, I think this is a good stopping point. So let's sort of review what the course is all about. We're here to explore contemporary software development. And we'll do that by learning about some concepts, some principles, but most importantly, the tools that we use for software development. Tonight, we of course got a bunch of stuff about the syllabus, but we got to experience Git and GitHub. I'm glad that this was familiar to you. Thanks for taking the time to make sure that your environment works, that you can execute these commands, because you'll be doing stuff with Git and GitHub throughout the entire course. So it's important that you feel comfortable working with these tools tonight. On Wednesday, we'll be back again. We'll start writing. We'll start looking at the Java programming language. So what we'll be doing is working with what are called Java koans, which are these tiny little pieces of code that help you learn about a particular aspect of the Java programming language, a particular language syntax, a particular API, a particular way of doing things. And I've found this to be a really good tool to help people learn or relearn, in the case of I think many of you, how to code in Java. And so what we'll do is we'll create the koans. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about the programming language. We'll maybe figure it out on Wednesday if we want to spend some time doing that. And then we'll also look at IntelliJ and use IntelliJ to start writing some code in Java. Sound good? Yeah. Quiz 1 is open. Feel free to take that. And if there are any questions, I will see you on Wednesday. Have a great night, everybody. Yep.
All the scripts only work in the Linux machines?
They do, and